Yeah. Hello, viewers all over the world. My name is Apostle Helen Rudokino, coming this way on the waves of Majesty TV. As you have been following the ongoing discussion regarding the Libyan slave trade and trafficking and the illegal migration, most especially from people of the African descent, today we would like to give possible recommendations towards ending this Libyan slave trade and at the same time this illegal migration to Europe. So our broadcast today will be very, very crispy, and in case you are there, you have something to give as a recommendation, please feel free to connect with us on Radio Voice of Niger, Facebook. At the same time, give your comments and call the studio line if you can on 020 3374 160. We have men who are qualified to make a genuine input towards this discussion. And some of you already, you know them because they are no more new in this panel. So they have really given us some tips on what they know, but today they will be at least giving some possible recommendations. And we hope this broadcast is going to bless you and your family and your loved ones. So thank you for joining. I want to introduce you, Bishop Irene. Welcome to Majesty TV.
It's good to be here always, and wonderful topic to talk at this typical time.
Yeah, speak loud, Bishop.
It is a very wonderful opportunity to be here again to discuss this very important issue as it affects our people back home in Africa, especially in West Africa.
Yes. So Bishop Irene Rodney is a community leader here and has been very, very effective at the Edo Union. You are their chairman, Board of Trustee. Thank you for being here. And we also have Mr. our Chief Nee Taki. Chief Nee is a community leader, ex-policeman, and is here today to be a blessing. You are not also a visitor here because many of our viewers, they know you. So what do you have to say to our audience?
Well, it's a pleasure. This opportunity has come around for us to actually interrogate the issue, dissect it well, enable us find, solutions to some of the problems affecting migrants from the continent and vice versa.
Yeah, it's
Thank
true.
you.
Thank you, sir, for being with us. And we have our own Elder Uyi Olaye, who is presently the vice chair of the Nigerian Nationals Association in the Netherlands. Elder, welcome to Majesty once again. You are not a visitor here.
Thank you very much for having me once again. I hope we'll be able to talk again on this very sensitive and critical issue that concerns our people back home vis-a-vis their efforts to find greener pastures in Europe.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Elder. And we have our own Chief Eze Igbebike. Eze, you are not a visitor here, Chief. You are not a visitor. So you've been in our panel many times. Yes. So welcome to this show. Say hello to our viewers out there.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.
And it's a very good opportunity for us to gather together because what is happening is affecting us.
Yeah.
Our people back home in Africa and different places.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that I'm here to interact with my brothers also about this particular issue.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And now let's just go on. Once again, in case you are just tuning in, this is Majesty Christian Television Network, and we are having 101 today with all these handsome panelists, handsome, educated, and community leaders who have decided today just to come and be a blessing. They took time out of their busy schedule just to come and be a blessing, to want to give their input concerning the recommendations for ending Libyan slavery and illegal migration to Europe. All right, gentlemen, just to not to go to the to the recommendations, I want us to examine a little bit. Are there some recent developments concerning this Libyan ongoing slave trade, which you may want to bring out in this platform? Are there some recent developments? Because, I mean, the discussion has been going on and we've done series of discussions around it. So are there more developments that you think we can bring out on the table? Yes.
Well, prior to the commencement of the crisis in Libya,
yeah,
it used to be an avenue for migrants from West Africa and other parts of the continent to go to Europe and look for better life or greener pastures, so to say. Before the Libyan crisis, when Gaddafi was in charge, Ghanaians, Nigerians, West Africans from over the continent goes to Libya to earn a living. They stay there, they work for years.
Oh, okay.
But I will start by talking about the Arab Spring, which started in Egypt, Al-Sisi, and as far as to Tunisia, and then they keep on going. Now look at what is happening in Syria. But in Libya, prior to the assassination of Gaddafi, there was this general Khalifa Haftar. He was in the Libyan army, and he fell out with Gaddafi. So he left to the States. And then immediately Gaddafi was overthrown, he came back. And because he was a popular soldier, he marshaled some of the groups and militants into his army, and he became a very strong man. Khalifa Haftar presently is controlling 2, 3, 4, 5 militants in Libya. The whole thing seems to be, I don't want to say bluntly it's a failed state, but from Tripoli, Hamistra, Sirte, Benghazi, and Tobruk.
Yes.
These are the major cities on the coast. And you cannot come to Europe without passing any of them.
Okay.
But unfortunately, all these cities is being controlled individually by the militant. ISIS is controlling part. Khalifa and his group are controlling part. And then in Tripoli itself, as I speak, we have 3 governments. 3, not even 2. 3 governments.
In Tripoli.
In Tripoli. United Nations has recognized one. The other one says no, he will accept that group to be the government of Libya.
Yeah.
And then there's another one too being controlled, I would say, by Khalifa and his group. So it is a very complex problem. It developed to an extent where United Nations planes had to bomb part of Libya. Now, unfortunately for our brothers and sisters, so to say, if they want to go to Europe, they go through these failed states.
Yeah.
And they were taken advantage of by these militants. It was a situation where even if they see you, a foreigner, you are seen as a threat to them because they don't know whether their adversaries has recruited you to come and fight on their behalf.
Really?
They don't know whether you are traveling or you come to stay. And it developed to a situation where they started selling our brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Yes, it was so sad that others started dealing in human parts. They sell you, they kill you, they remove your kidney, your whatnots, and then they sell to hospitals. You know, yeah, it's a business.
But if you are saying that it was because they were not sure of who was in their country, they were not sure. Okay, so they don't know whether you belong to this camp or the other camp. How come they are also hijacking women?
Libya used to be
even small kids. How come?
They were depending on oil, and when the crisis started, the oil business plummeted and came to zero. So the only avenue to make money is to capture foreigners, keep them, sell parts, and then make money. Yeah. So all the militants started dealing in human beings. I just want to.
This is
it's an unfortunate situation.
Wow.
Yes.
This is detailed. Well, yes. Yeah,
okay.
Come in, sir.
Okay. Yes, I appreciate the contribution of my brother. Really, Libya, as he said, is a failed state.
Yes.
And wherever there is war, you will never expect things to go normal again. For instance, we have experienced during the time of Liberian Civil War and Sierra Leone, there are some kind of atrocities.
Yeah.
You understand me? And again, this particular Libya problem, there is no control, there is no central government. But the problem is not only on Libyans or the rebels or the militants.
No.
What of the government of those people that are migrating? What have they done? Because they knew very well that Libya is not stable. So you have to, even though the people, not everybody will accept government advice, but they have to do something.
Exactly.
To educate their people, let them know that this route is no more viable, it's no more safe.
It's true.
For them to travel through.
That's a very good point.
You understand? This is this responsibility is for the foreign affairs of every country. Nigerians that are migrating through Libya, Ghanaians, every other country that are their foreign affairs ministry supposed to do something. Because they have embassies there. And again, you have also to educate your people at home. Passing through there is very dangerous. So if those people that are passing through there, if you give them enough information, they will know that their life is at stake.
This is true.
So that is one thing. The government of the people that are being enslaved have a blame also. So let me stop.
So yes.
Well, you see, it's like we spoke about this same issue on this same program.
Yeah, but the details they are giving, we didn't really digress to that level.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You see, now we're trying to find some recommendations to provide solutions or give suggestions on how we think we can resolve this. We can save our people from getting involved in such precarious journeys.
Yeah.
But you see, it's a difficult thing. Chief said just now that our government can be involved, like the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and embassies and all that. Yes, that is very correct. But you see, the problem we have, like I said in the other program, is also has to do with the mentality of our people. The ignorance, the in-depth ignorance that affects our people.
Yes.
Their sense of value of what they think is a priority to them. Now, I can assure you that every Nigerian is aware that that route is very, very risky.
Exactly.
So,
I think so.
It's no more an issue of they don't know, let us tell them.
No.
They are aware. Everyone in every Nigerian, every West African human being that listens to news, that listens to talks, that listens to radio, that read newspapers, are aware,
they must be aware,
home and abroad, that flying through the route of Morocco, Algeria, Libya to Europe is very deadly. And the risk is 98% of dying in the sea, or dying on the road, or dying in the desert, or dying in the hands of slave traders that have just emerged. But I think that the government will do more. If the government only has to enlighten the people to say, don't go there, don't pass through that route because it is risky, they may achieve very little results. because the people are already aware. And I can assure you that today, so many families in Nigeria are still encouraging their friends to come. So many parents are still out of poverty and desperation, are still asking their children to take the risk. If your friend could arrive in Italy, he went through that route. You will also arrive. We will fast and pray.
Hey.
We are going to fast. We are going to pray. And you will get there in the name of Jesus. And these children go. I can assure you that many are still preparing back home to take that journey.
Jesus.
Okay?
Yes.
So that is the problem. That is why I said it's a difficult issue, a problem. But I think that, first of all, what our government must do to start tackling this problem is identifying, investigating the syndicates. We have back home in Nigeria, we have very, very terrible, deadly syndicates of illegal immigration.
Okay, hold it there.
Yeah.
Elder, hold it. Because we really wanted to know whether there are some more developments, okay, before the recommendations.
Okay, obviously, some of the new developments, like I saw or that I read about online, is that many Nigerians are being taken back home.
Okay.
Yes, I saw it that many Nigerians are being taken back home, and some churches are bringing them to stay in their premises.
Okay.
Some churches are providing food and water and clothes for them or something like that.
Okay.
And the government is also taking over some of them,
Yeah.
some category of those that were deported back from Libya. So I think that is one of the recent developments, that more Nigerians trapped in Libya are being taken back home. Yeah.
What do you have to say? Thank you, sir. Yes.
Well, thank you very much. We've talked about this many times. First and foremost, it is said if the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse becomes inevitable. Migration is as old as any human being on planet Earth.
It's true.
And it is very clear that people started migrating from one point to the other. If you go back to history, the recent history teaches us about Italians and people from Ireland, where there was famine in Europe, how they migrated to America. How Christopher Columbus left the shores of Europe and discovered so many islands in the Caribbean and up to America.
Yes.
So migration has become part and parcel of human existence. But what we are talking about here, there are two types of migration.
Yes.
Voluntary and involuntary.
That's what we are talking
Involuntary has to do with slave trade. Our people were taken from Africa without their consent and being enslaved in the Western world. But sadly, in this 21st century, we are in a situation whereby our people have decided to be slaves themselves. Voluntarily decided, I will take this risk irrespective of what the outcome might be. So be that as it may, we are where we are. It has to do with systemic failure of every country in West Africa.
Yes.
ECOWAS, Nigeria being the biggest, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and all the other countries in West Africa. Moving forward, and what the solutions, as every panelist have said, varies. There is no one straitjacket solution to this problem. If we are looking at this is the golden bullet, that is the silver bullet, as they say, that is going to solve the problem, it's impossible. It is a gradual process that has to do with the reorientation of our people. As I have said before, when the man is determined he wants to get the thing done, there is nothing you can do.
Exactly.
And that is why we have, unfortunately, the incidents of suicide bombers. Why should somebody say, go and kill an innocent person? Because he's determined. Bullets cannot stop him or her. So a man or woman who is determined, I want to get to Europe, there is nothing you can do. But there are ways you can ameliorate, bring the situation down, bring the level of illegal migration down, and these are the things we are here to discuss today. First, it has to do with the mindset of the people, and it has to do with the government. First, it's you, the person, the people, the concerned, and the various government we have in West Africa. There are different solutions to that.
Sir, are there some things being done in Ghana?
Well, to be very candid on this issue, there is a cause for everything. If you look at Africa, West Africa to be precise, the corrupt leaders there, they take monies, I mean, they steal money and send to Europe. And then they turn around, go to Europe, ask for assistance. When they bring the money, they misuse the money, squander it. Let me cite some instances here. A country like Cote d'Ivoire, when Houphouët Boigny was in charge, hardly will you see an Ivorian in Europe, because at the end of the month, whatever income that comes to you, you can afford to buy all the luxuries of life.
Yes.
So in those days of Houphouët Boigny, if you look around Europe, you won't see 3, 4, 5 Ivorians. They were all at home. What caused the migration? Economic hardships. It is. Misappropriation of state funds.
Yeah, it's true.
Let me tell you, a lady minister in charge of oil in Nigeria, when she left to England,
exactly,
the amount of money she took along,
it's true,
is sad.
Yaya
Jammeh,
in billions.
When they voted against him and he was leaving, the suitcase he was carrying. Look, if you want to talk about corruption, it's a very sad situation. And the masses are suffering.
Yes.
If you are in your country and the economic policies, I was sad yesterday sitting and watching the telly, and Nigeria, oil producing country, queues for petrol. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. You know, who is in charge of oil in Nigeria and what is happening? It is sad for the Europeans to see us producing oil and queuing for petrol.
Can you imagine?
We are having refineries in Nigeria. We have refineries in Ghana. People are hungry. They are suffering. That is why, Bishop, they want to move and look for greener pastures somewhere.
Yes.
They don't even think about the desert, the rough seas, or what to go through. They are looking to Europe. They first have to grapple with entering Europe, then documentation. You come here, you are an illegal immigrant. It will take you 15, 20 years to regularize your stay here.
It's true.
Yeah. Ada, it's a very sad situation. So I first put the blame on the European countries. I was listening to the telly, watching, and then the Swiss government is saying money stolen by General Abacha, they are returning it back to Nigeria. Why did you accept the money in the first place if you know it was a stolen money? So the Europeans encourage the pilfering of state funds, leaving the masses to suffer. You know, it's a very sad situation.
It's very, very, very sad. It's a bit, if I may ask you, if you were to be in their position, you were in your bank, in your own country, and somebody brought money to come and deposit, would you say no? Would you say no? Because we Madam, can easily point out and say this and this and this. Even the conditions which they normally give them in this Swiss bank is very harsh.
If you don't condone the misappropriation of funds.
And yet, you see our people, they're determined to put that money there. So who are you going to blame?
Why do you say
offshore companies?
Yeah.
They use registered offshore companies.
Swiss banks, they don't use names, they use numbers. So if you give money to Bishop to go and put there, he reaches there and then he takes the number and come and give you a different number. The money is for you, but you don't have access to the money. And they don't know who owns it. They are helping corruption. But if you become blunt that any money you bring from Africa as a leader, it will be returned back. Look, if Europeans were investing in Africa, you know, now they are facing the problem they started themselves. You know, yeah, in case they invested in Africa, they tried sending money to Libya to block migrants from crossing the high seas. It's too late. Why didn't you do that earlier on? That, African countries, each European country, you just take one country and invest in that country. There will be no need for, citizens here to travel to Europe. But the people are hungry.
But how long will the European people sit us?
Exactly.
Ghana is 50 years independent.
Ghana is
Nigeria is 57.
My brother, you made a very significant point.
It's good, sir.
Yeah, you made a very significant point. But you see, I somehow see it from a little bit different perspective. It's like our host, Apostle Helen Dokeno just said. It would be very, very unimaginable that people bring billions of dollars. Yes. Banks are there to make gain. Banks are marketers. When you bring a significant figure in a particular country, brings money from his own country to lodge in my bank, maybe in a fixed deposit for the next 3 or 4 years. Yes. And we know we need those billions of dollars to market, to trade, investment, to boost the financial strength of our bank. You will not refuse it. Because you were not party, you were not a protagonist or a party to them bringing that money. It was not a planned thing between, for example, the Swiss, the British, the Dutch bank or whatever, with those guys, with those criminals in Africa. Yeah. They are not planned investments. But when those guys now come and say, please, I want to put my money in safe custody in your bank, they will not refuse because they want people to bring money. Exactly. Okay? And it's not transferable. And it's not. It's not. So they use this money to strengthen their banking system. No nest of kin is involved. Okay. And then another thing is why I somehow disagree that Europeans, Americans are responsible for the downfall or economic hardship in Africa. I usually disagree. For all of these years, 57 years. I usually disagree because you cannot. I know they have a lot of influence on those developing countries for obvious reasons. We know. But no European government, no European country anywhere or America would come to would talk to a governor or would talk to a minister or we talk to a senator, or we talk to a parliamentarian, or we talk to the president or vice president of another country in Africa to say, look, be corrupt. No. Don't take care of your people. Steal the money for their roads. Don't let your schools dilapidate. Exactly. Don't buy health facilities for your people. No European government will do that. So our people are bad. They are corrupt. They have no sympathy for the poor. They see every government appointment as an opportunity to steal. And they don't steal in a small way. They want to steal the whole country. Okay? So that is what is our problem. It hasn't got, personally, I don't believe it has something to do with the European government encouraging corruption in Africa for their own gain. No, I don't believe it. Because, for example, no government anywhere would tell me to kill my own people. To make my people hungry, to steal the money for their health services, to steal the money for their education, to steal. It's not possible. I don't think it exists anywhere. No. Therefore, I believe that corruption in Africa is an African problem. Okay? It's an African problem. It's not the European, it's not the fault of the European. It's not the fault of the European powers that be, okay, that controls Africa. They have other diplomatic influence and other political influence on Africa, but they have no influence to determine how corrupt Africa is today. Okay? So I think that, like my brother said, the foundation, like we said in the other program, the foundation for this dangerous immigration of Africans to Europe has a foundation in poverty and ignorance. It is. Okay? If I have 3 square meals in my country as a young man, or as
is not part of it. I think it has to do with poverty. That's
ignorance is a part of it, because they believe. You see, it's like Bishop said, it's an orientation that they are so convinced about that you need to go to Europe to become a human being. But that is not true.
To be able to put food on the table for your family.
Yes.
Because when you are in Africa, it's like you cannot achieve that goal.
Yes, that is the issue. That is the issue. So everybody believes that.
It's like you can't get a good job, you can't live in good house, you have no security, you have no health insurance, and all of those sorts. So every family is fighting at least to make sure that they have somebody in Europe in case there's sickness, in case there's festivals like this. You know, somebody will not remit some money so that they can also eat like other people.
Do you know?
See? So I think poverty is the first thing, and then the second thing has to be corruption. Because if we're gonna deal with this and get the answer, we must look for a way to put an end to corruption and not to show any mercy. Because if it means bringing death sentences, some penalties that are very, very, very harsh.
Chinese
Because
example.
if somebody will carry drugs, somebody carries drugs to any of these Asian countries, and then you are being Malaysia, for instance, and then you are being caught there. Singapore, they are being sentenced to death. If they can sentence somebody who carried drugs, so why don't we sentence as well those who have, who can convert trillions within a second? And then we are still looking at them, and then we are looking, and we are looking at them transferring their staff of office to their so-called godfather, godson, and goddaughter. We see them. We see that these are the things they are doing. Because yesterday people were discussing here how somebody read medicine and then you go and put him in the bank. What has medicine got to do with working in the bank? Do you understand? So somebody read accountancy, you go and put the account as somebody in the hospital. So, okay, he can be at the other department anyway, but I'm just trying to say something. You see them mixing up things because they just want to put their own people in positions. So I think there got to be a radical mindset, and then we take away the pitying spirit and then do something, do away with corruption once and for all.
When our brother-in-law, Mugabe, was forced to resign, the money found in the finance minister's house is more than money in a central bank.
Yeah, that's what they said. We saw it on Facebook.
Who put the money there?
Yeah, but how
sure are you that the money was really?
And why must our leaders go more than 2 tenors? Why must the leaders go more than 2 tenors?
Look,
let me say something.
Let him speak then.
Okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, corruption is one of the things that is bringing African countries down and lead to this migration. Because if our leaders are looking at Western world or European leaders as well, because they are the people who governed us and gave us independence. So we supposed to work like them.
Yeah, we are corrupt too, please.
I understand, but it's not like like our own. It's true. The corruption here is not like the one in our country. It's not the same. Okay, for instance, now, if somebody is mentioned in this Netherlands, that person, like scandal, that the person was having something outside his wedlock, whatever.
Yes.
The man will just throw in the towel, whether it's a minister or whatever.
Yes.
He will resign.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's true.
Is it done in Africa?
No. They brag with their girlfriends.
This is what is called
I'm telling you.
principle.
Not
Our
husband, not wife. Girlfriends.
Our leaders is completely corrupt. They don't have integrity. No. They don't have principle.
Yes.
And they refuse to resign too.
They don't tell truth as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now, I think you mentioned the money deposited in the bank.
Yeah.
Quite all right, bank don't have, like he said, that bank don't have any right to say no.
No.
Because that is what they come for. It's their business.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, when the government now discovers that this money is fraudulently transferred to that bank, I mean, like Switzerland.
Yeah.
If their government finds out, and the Nigerian government pursues the money, and the money we have lent some has returned to Nigeria. Are they going to use it judiciously?
That's another problem.
Or to share
the current leaders share it
and transfer
it back
again.
You see that scenario?
They share the money.
They share the money
back again. So the point is that we are not getting good leaders. Sometimes we have, and you see, they will not let that person stay long.
No.
They will just either kill him or push him aside.
It's true.
When they get somebody that is working for the poor people to make the economy of the country to rise, they will plan a coup to remove that person.
It's true.
in my native
So
Ghana.
this is one of the things that are bringing African people down. And for instance, in Africa, we don't have good hospitals.
No.
But the money is there to build good hospitals. When they feel headache, they come to Europe.
Yeah.
But when ordinary person fell sick, the person goes to the hospital, they will ask him to deposit money first. If you don't deposit, no matter how critical
they will not
attend to you.
Ghana has one of the most recent
National Health Insurance.
ultra-modern hospital, because even my senior brother, the thoracic surgeon, called me all the way from United States and was telling me, hey, do you know that Ghana has one of the most ultra-modern hospitals now? He would like to go and do some heart surgery there, because they have everything now. Ghana.
Please, let me chip in this, the Bishop.
Yeah, but we have
In
to
my
come back
native
to
Ghana,
our
when the government decided to start school feeding program, they came to the Netherlands for financial assistance. Okay? While the Prime Minister of Netherlands goes to office on bicycle, my president uses V8, and when he's traveling from his house to his working place, about 10 police, motor leading, about 6 V8 vehicles following him.
Yes.
And then you come and look for money here. And look the lifestyle of the Prime Minister here compared to your president. What are you telling me? My brother, the problem we are facing on the African continent is self-made. Our leaders are corrupt. Period. If they look when I was a young man and started following politics, when a government goes to the IMF or World Bank to ask for money, they put conditions. Sack these people before we give you this money. Use this money, and people are sent here to monitor how you invest the money. Nowadays, because when you ask for a loan, the government knows he has 8 years or maybe 10 years, 1-2 terms. So he just keep on borrowing the money, and then the bank will give you maybe 10 years moratorium before you start payment. You know, by the time they start payment, he's gone. So Ghana, before a government came, the overall debt of the country was about $9 billion. Within 8 years, it has skyrocketed from $9 billion to $150 billion. Jesus. Because he is not to pay, he is gone. He's ruled for 8 years, his time has gone. That's what the democracy says. So, you see, the burden you are living, as I speak, the current government in Ghana is paying for contractors who made roads. They were just commissioning the roads to win votes without paying the contractors. A new government comes and they tell you about 80 contractors haven't been paid. So look out for money and pay them before you can execute another contract. Yes. A minister of state get up and say, oh, this government came in, they have not even added 1 kilometer of road to what we did. Have you paid for what you did? My sister. And you are accusing the current government that he hasn't added 1 kilometer. But the 10 or 15,000 kilometers you made, have you paid for it? No. They share the money. My brother, at times I weep that when I go home and I see my cities, look, gutters are full with rubbish. Food is being cooked unhygienically everywhere. Lot of kiosks, people sleep on the streets. Africa, I sit down and look, I say, is that where I came from? Yeah. Go and look to Amsterdam. Do you see a lot of kiosks or a kiosk outside somebody's house?
Seen gutter, even gutter.
Have you seen gutter here? Have you seen electric wires up there?
And all of them are coming
and they come here. Look, when the best hospital your brother was referring to, Kolebu, as I speak.
It's not Kolebu.
The Ridge Hospital and other places. Yeah. Do you know when you are sick and you go there, a nurse will come and stand and call your name. Yamansa, Yamansa 3 times. If no response, you put your card under. Maybe Yamansa is lying there sick and asleep. They come to Europe every day. They see these tickets. You go to Abaten and other house doctor. Yeah. If you tear the ticket and you know your number will be coming, you won't sleep. You'll be watching the board until this thing, how much does it cost? When I went to Ghana, I went to hospital and I was sitting on the bench in a queue and the nurses were passing with their friends to the doctor. Then I asked, hey, Madam Nurse, we are all sick. He said, she told me, do you know what is protocol? I went to nursing training college. So if my landlord, my sister, my brother comes, I have to join the queue because of my nursing dress and take her to the doctor. So you have to sit and I execute my protocol. Whereas here, if I go to the house doctor and I tear my number, and the doctor's brother comes sick,
he will wait.
She will also tear the ticket and wait for the number.
That's what they do.
Orderliness. First come, first serve. These simple things. Look, MRI scan. My elder brother has to go on an MRI scan. They were looking for 7 million Ghana cedis. My sister could not afford, so they called me. I sent the little 2 million. I sent it to them, and by the time they got to my brother, the following day he died.
Oh,
because the sickness has eaten you up already. Look, the hospitals in Ghana. Do you know what is happening? The medical stores, it got banned last year. They sell the drugs to their private hospitals.
It's true.
So if you go to the government hospital, they will prescribe for you. Go for this. Oh, this medicine will be good for you, but we don't have it.
Yeah.
Go to this drugstore. He stole it from government into his private drugstore. This is what is happening.
Systematized corruption.
My brothers and sisters, look, we are the cause of our suffering.
What he's saying is very
We are the cause of what we are going through.
I have been, thank you, sir. I have been a victim. I have been a victim. You can just. I have been a victim. I have been a victim of what he is talking about.
Thank you.
Of the inefficiency and the corruption that's prevalent in our institutions in Africa. Yesterday, I was having an appointment somewhere, and I transferred money from a bank account on the 22nd of December to a friend through the internet banking. And as I speak, as of yesterday, the money has not been received. Chairman, Board of Trustees, not chair. And as a result of that, I chatted with the officials in the bank. They said they are looking into it. Yesterday, I put up a post in Facebook stating that a friend of mine just asked why our institutions not working. I said, one question, many answers. That's the way I put it on Facebook yesterday on my timeline. What he spoke about, we have a problem that has to do with us as a people. I'm on air, but that is the truth. Truth is internal.
Exactly.
You bury it, you remove it, it will remain the truth. The most tribalistic human being on planet Earth, unfortunately, are us, black people. Not even the whites. Votes in Nigeria, if you are from party A, and your candidate is from your region, he gets 99.9% of the votes.
Yes.
Whether he's the most qualified or he's not the most qualified. But because we are from the same tribe, we speak the same language.
Nepotism.
But we agree we all vote for him. In Ghana, most people from Ashanti region, East Coast, they are all NPPs.
PPs, or Volta region or NDCs.
So whether in Nigeria, our present president, who is from the northern part, receive almost over 170% of the votes in the north. When Jonathan was there, who is from the south-south region, he got over 100% votes from the south-south region. Why? Because we feel it is our own.
Our own.
Is he or she the most qualified? Not. But oftentimes, I have said it, and I repeat it on air, there is the reason for us to follow the example of Rwanda. In Rwanda, you don't call anybody now and say, are you Tutsi or Hutu? They will tell you, I don't know what you are talking about. I am a Rwandese.
Yes,
Which is very good.
Now is the time for us to begin to go back to the basics, to teach our young ones about how to be nationalistic and love your country.
Yes, patriotic.
Children don't discriminate.
No.
When children are little, whether you are white, green, they all play together.
Yeah.
But it is when they begin to grow that we, the adults, begin to teach them, you are Akan, you are you are this, you are Igbo, you are Hausa, you are Yoruba, you are Bini. No, we should begin and start from the basics and teaching our children the love of humanity.
True love.
There is a big problem. The problems are, everyone has spoken about that we all know. But how do we solve this problem?
That's why we are here.
How we solve the problem, from my little belief, first, you can never stop illegal migration 100%. It's not possible. But you can reduce it drastically, and over time, there will be a temporary cease of people moving illegally, involuntary migration. So for the benefit of our listeners and for the whole world, it is clear that Africa's problem has to do with us. Yes, we can talk about the British and the French who came to divide all of us. They have done it, they've gone back. The question is, what have we done with ourselves? Ghana has been independent for 60 years, Nigeria 57. Must they begin to babysit us at this age? The oil was discovered in Nigeria in 1956 or 57 in Nolobere. Until today, Nigeria oil is taken from the ground, raw and taken out to the Western world and refined and brought back. Cocoa is being harvested in Ghana, raw, taken out, and brought back as chocolate.
Because of the contract.
Then ask yourself, how long does it take a Nigerian to know how to be a petroleum engineer, to know how to build a refinery? How long does it take to build a refinery? How long does it take a qualified Ghanaian to know how to take raw cocoa and convert it to chocolate. And export it? How long? Must the white people teach us this? No. The problem has to do with by putting wrong people into government because they are from the same tribe with us or because they share the same faith.
But did they teach us the right thing? That's another thing.
Listen,
did they teach us the right thing?
I'm coming,
do we have the right equipment?
Because
we are talking about engineers and whatever.
If one have not taught you, if one have not taught us the right thing, there is self-education. These days, the world is on the internet. But listen, I believe we are making gradual progress. It is not all doom.
No,
I believe Rwanda has set a pace.
Yes.
In Tanzania, the president there, I was told he fly commercial flights. I believe it will get better in Ghana. So also I believe in Nigeria it will get better.
Yeah.
But it is time for us to begin to educate the younger ones, especially the young generation, that it is your future that our leaders are mortgaging. So they should better rise up, put behind them tribalism. If the road is constructed in Nigeria, it's for all Nigerians. If the roads in Ghana works, if the electricity in Ghana works, it's for all Ghanaians. Nobody is going to ask you whether you are Ewe, you are from Ghana, you are Yoruba, you are Hausa. If the electricity works, it's for everybody. It is the time for us to rise up, teach our young ones to forget where you are born is not determined by you. Nobody says, this is where I want to be born. You came to this world and you discover you are this tribe. That doesn't define who you are. Goodness, truth, or they are universal principles. And these are the principles we should be able to teach our children, teach the young ones, and let them imbibe it. And I believe in future generation in Africa, it might get better. I am so optimistic it will get better, not mine. But we have to set the pace at this point in time.
Exactly. Thank you. Let me come in, please. For those who are just watching us on the internet, some of them have their questions and also some of their answers. From Dikin Osayende, if you are still listening, he said our leaders need to be held accountable for mismanagement of our Commonwealth funds. And then he said it has to do with integrity, which is lacking in Africa. African leaders lack planning and maintenance culture. Lack of good policy implementation and control, which is true.
Yeah.
Which is very, very true. Dickon, you can also call in and then let's hear your voice. Claire Ndozi Anosike, she said, there must be a revolution in Africa. Enough is enough. Our people have suffered too much.
Yeah.
Dickon said, the major problem is that the youths that refuse to wake up from their slumber. Claire, our leaders are wicked and selfish. They must be a mass grave for them, for them all. If
Madam,
we need mass grave
please,
for them,
let me chip in this.
let me
I'm
finish.
happy.
They have not, because they are going to call in.
Yeah.
And then one Sonny Odaro said, we just keep talking about African problems. Good. But panelists, please, what action do you guys advise?
Thank you.
Dickens says, corruption, tribalism, nepotism, and religion are the major problems of Africa. So one Amalia has also joined, and she's watching, and one multitude of so many of them. Well, thank you, our viewers. Please feel free to give us a call on 020 3374 Should you be watching from Russia, from Austria, from Germany, from America, from
Nigeria,
UK, or Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, wherever, Algeria, please remember to put 31, then 20, then 3374 Thank you for watching us on Facebook, and please continue with your suggestions. But call in anyway, because we want to hear your voice. Right,
I once watched a documentary on Nigeria oil, and I saw a man standing in his farm, which has turned in oil.
Yeah.
He said he's a farmer and a fisherman. All the waters has turned oil.
Yeah.
All the land to farm and plant oil. And they say some Shell Limited, I don't know where they came from, I don't want to mention names, but they say the company manning the oil is Shell. So if you come to my country to explore for oil,
yes,
and you destroy the land,
that way it is true.
the people living there cannot farm, cannot fish,
So?
you spoil their livelihood.
Give
What
them
are you
sicknesses.
giving in return?
Yeah.
Is it school? Is it water?
They've been
It is
out
good
to
roads?
complain about that. Yes.
My brother, let the African leaders wake up and talk on behalf of their people. Look, South Africa, you came as a president, and Jacob Zuma. People were living in zinc iron sheet buildings while you are using state money to develop your mansion. You saw the euphoria that came after he was kicked out. It happened in Zimbabwe. Look, what is worrying Africa is our leaders. That is why my sister, my brother is going through the desert through these rough seas. If our leaders are accountable and they think about, my brother,
The leaders and the lady.
I even think this African Union thing is corrupting them, because they imitate each other. Because if they want from from Nigeria, say I bulldoze, and I took away trillions. The other one quickly say, you, oh boy, how did you do it?
Jama lost elections.
It's like the thing is not
go
happening.
away. You say you are not going. They have to bring soldiers from Nigeria, Ghana, like everywhere before Jama left. And the suitcases he was carrying away.
He emptied the central bank.
He emptied the central bank and took all them. Up to today, nobody has asked him. Look, Sarkozy of France, when he left office, they went back to say when Gaddafi was in power, he took some money from him for his, so he had to account for it.
Yeah.
But why African leaders, my brother? When they steal, then
yes, sir.
nobody asks them questions.
Okay,
Just 1 second, sir.
Okay.
You see, we must not allow these people to divide us. Use Nigeria as an example. Okay, I'm using it for just political reasons. If somebody from the north comes in, it divides the people in the south. There is no unity. Like I have said, if somebody from the south comes in, it divides the people in the north. There is no unity. And my dear brother Kofo Nana Ado, who is there today, who is from the eastern region, listen. If he does good for, it becomes for all Ghanaians from the north and outside the north to the Ga people in Accra.
Yes.
It's for all Ghanaians. If Buhari does well in Nigeria,
It has to be for
it
all
becomes
Nigerians.
all Nigerian from the
Yes.
north to the south. But the problem is that the political leaders divide us. We allow this division to happen because of the selfish reasons of some of our leaders. Listen, electricity, Nigeria lacks electricity. I have often said it's easy to point fingers, but remember, how many Libyans before Gaddafi left are in Europe? Because Gaddafi took care of his people.
Very well.
Listen, I left Nigeria, you left Ghana, We all left and we have found ourselves here.
Yeah.
While we are pointing our fingers at the leaders, we should equally point it at ourselves. If we all rise up, apartheid would not have ended in South Africa if South Africa were all talking and no action. Talk and no action is just blowing hot air.
It's true.
It is time for us to rise up in peaceful demonstration. I'm an advocate of peace. For us to hold our leaders to account and forget tribalism and religion. These are some of our problems. We should rise up in peaceful demonstration. If all Nigerians say, listen, we are done with the 1979 Constitution, we want restructuring of the country for Nigeria to be a true federation, and go to the public park in Abuja to sit and tape our mouth. Peaceful demonstration. But I'm telling you today that some political leaders will divide them. Give money to some people, they will tell you now.
They will smuggle them out like Omar Odiko.
That is the point we are making.
Out.
We are trying to, to bring out now. For instance, I'm a Nigerian. I started hearing marginalization from Niger Delta. The place where the economy of Nigeria is
extracted from.
Yeah, that's what our brother said.
So I started hearing marginalization from there. And what I'm trying to say is just in line with what we are saying.
Yes, Chief. Sorry, sir. How many Northerners are in this country?
Hold on, I'm coming.
They're not here. I don't even see them.
They get appointments.
even before then, if you go to the street, you will see millions of them beggars.
Yeah, but how many outside Europe? How many outside in Nigeria?
Listen.
Go ahead, Chief.
To what I'm saying. We have, like me, myself, you yourself, we have to start from ourselves.
We have a responsibility.
From our families.
I agree.
From our home, back in Nigeria. What we are learning in Europe, we have to, whether you are with them or by telephone, you have to educate them.
Oh, just it.
Until when you are there by yourself, then you can make other impact. But while you are discussing with them, I do this over the phone. Sometimes I go into argument with them.
I agree with you.
A lot of times.
A lot of times. I go into argument with them. They don't understand. And it helps them. I'm telling you true.
I agree, sir.
In my own kindred.
Yeah.
They call me a lot. Every time they have, like, difficult arguments or in their meeting or whatever.
Yes.
They will call me.
Yes.
I will suggest my opinion to them.
Yes.
And they apply it. It works for them. Because you have to let other people go through you. What you learned, pass it to other people. You understand?
Yeah.
Nigeria, I started with marginalization. Government of Nigeria wanted to settle this issue of oil spillage in Niger Delta.
Yeah.
The land is destroyed.
The
like
rivers
land
destroyed.
The fish are dying.
And the people also are dying of diseases. Cancer.
There was a lot of crisis there. When Obasanjo sent troops there in Odi to massacre a lot of people because maybe they killed one police or two police. But that is what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is this. At a time, their people was brought out. Okay, you are the leader, you are leader, you are leader, your people trusted you. This is the money. Take this thing, go there.
And help
there is a commission set up or panel to oversee about cleaning of that place. The money inside their own pockets.
They are billionaires today.
Yeah, inside their own pocket.
Owning private universities.
That are singing
foreigners come to destroy the land.
Big hotels. I'm telling you, the government took money, give them, put them at the head of the panel or the commission
and
to see that the environment is clean. They took the money. Some went up to West Africa and built the university.
My brother.
Oh!
Yeah. I need to say something.
Yeah,
look, you're telling too many stories here. You see, we can talk about these things from today to
Jesus Christ.
You see, it's not enough to just talk about it.
Yeah.
If we want to do something, which steps are we going to take practically? You know, when it comes to elections, politicians have a way of
manipulating the people.
They use sweet words and do, and they've been doing that for all this and getting away. They're so foolish that we listen to their storytelling every time. We vote for them, and when they get up there, they forget us.
Every 4 years.
Okay, so then, those of us who are concerned, what are we going to do? I mean, concretely, practically.
Start with the children. Education.
In a determined way, to really change this thing is a systematized
it's so rooted.
Corruption.
Corruption.
And when people get there, something happens. Their heart changes. From a heart of flesh to a heart of stone.
It's true, because
they will forget about you.
They enter into occultism.
So those of us who are talking, for me,
I'm happy Africans are becoming discerning now. You see, the politicians who come for every 4 years to mislead us, now some are becoming discerning.
You know what?
Work it out. Along the line, you gather people who may come along, who share the same vision. They are believing for change, and then we put into action. But this just talk without anything concrete, I think it's taking us nowhere.
You see, when there is this saying that we all know about that says, a terrible illness, a terrible sickness, requires only a desperate cure.
Yes.
If you go and give paracetamol to somebody that has cancer, he's going to die because paracetamol is too will not help him. Okay, hasn't got the ingredients to help.
Hello, caller. Hello, caller, please. Can you speak? Caller? All right. You call again. Please continue.
Okay, so if you give the wrong solution or a solution that is not strong enough to a problem, we are not going to resolve the problem. Therefore, in summary, without missing words, many years ago, Ghana was in an economic quagmire. And when Jerry Rawlings came,
I was just thinking about that.
To talk about that.
When he came,
hello, caller, please.
Hey, hi, this is Sonny. Can I be on to this panel, please?
Sonny, how are you?
Yeah, Sonny, please, can you speak? Hello, Sonny. Hello, Sonny. All right. Have we lost him?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm good.
All right, can you
hear me, please?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Okay, good evening, panels.
Good evening.
You're welcome. Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just speak, please. Speak.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, there was a question I raised. I raised a question just now. I said, what can we do to resolve this problem?
Yeah, we read your question, and if you have something which you want to add to the panel, please, you can go ahead, because Elder was speaking before you called in.
We are dealing with the solutions as you rightly asked. Sonny Odaro, we are preferring solutions.
I think it's time there should be a revolution in Africa, especially Nigeria, where we come from.
Yeah, but we cannot sit in Europe and then we are talking about revolution. Who do we want to die in this revolution? Because all the time people are talking about revolution. But those of us who are in the diaspora have to go home first, then start the revolution if you want.
Madam, let me say this here. 1 minute. 1 minute, please. When Jerry Rawlings came.
Sir, excuse me. Sonny, have you finished?
It's not audible.
We can hear you.
Yeah,
Sonny? Okay, you have to come live here and give your listen. Sonny, please. Can we continue?
Anyway, let me continue with you guys. I'll keep on listening. So I just hang up now.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Madam, please. When Jerry Rollins came.
Somebody was holding. Somebody was speaking.
Oh, you were
before.
speaking.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
So, thank you. Like I was saying, Nigeria, I need to be specific now about Nigeria because charity begins at home.
Exactly.
We have a country that has been so bastardized with corruption, wickedness, occultism, in fact, witchcraft, and everything bad that you can think about. All are involved in our government. Our leaders are all these things I've mentioned.
Yes.
They are occultic, they are wicked, they are ruthless, they are witches and wizards in government. Who, they have no mercy on human beings.
Yeah.
And such, you see, they are like demons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
blood.
when you are dealing with such people, you don't deal with them with a human mind. You don't attend to a devil, a demon, with broom and cutlass. You're not going to succeed. You see, what I'm trying to say is this. Many years ago, Ghana was in a bad state.
Yes.
We had so many Ghanaians in my city, all over Nigeria.
Yes.
We helped a lot of them. We gave them food. We gave them water. We gave them accommodation. My father was busy hiding Ghanaians.
Yeah.
To protect them.
Do you know that my father didn't even allow some Ghanaians to go back because they were crying?
Yeah.
Papa, you know, because there were these mobile policemen and soldiers that were raiding them to deport them.
Yeah.
My father personally had to hide some of them, the ladies, some of the young men.
Yeah.
Okay? And I can assure you that some of them today are still living in Nigeria.
Yes. And some of them came to Europe through
but
Nigeria.
that was a very bad situation. That it was a torturing situation economically that Ghana went through. And what caused it? Corruption.
Corruption.
Now, if you see what at a stage, if you see what Ghanaians went through in Nigeria, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's like we complain about South Africa, xenophobia, Libyans are massacring our people.
Yeah.
Some Ghanaians were really tortured by the security agencies in Nigeria on the order of the government. Okay, because it was an exodus of these our brothers from Ghana in Nigeria.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Jerry Rollins took a certain specific actions
Exactly.
that resolved
This corruption was
multiple problems in Ghana. And Ghana started returning home, or even on their own. Okay? Now, Nigeria is not a matter of we need a revolution,
Yeah. And we stay here.
We need to change the status quo of the political leaders. In the sense, what I'm trying to say is this. All these old leaders who have ruled from particular year to this moment, even till today, should all be removed and taken by certain authority and be killed, all of them.
Oh.
Yes. Now, do you know why?
God be merciful, Lord.
Yes. Do you know why? Because when there are bad eggs, when the head is sick,
It will continue
the entire body will go bad, will go sick. Now, if, for example, George Weah, the ex-footballer, has just become the president of Liberia. That will never happen in Nigeria. They will not allow it to happen.
No.
They don't want young people who are vibrant, who are knowledgeable, who have human faces to rule in Nigeria. They want one devilish godfather will just take him and put him in the Senate, and he begins to steal money and pay homage to him.
Yeah, it's true.
That is all we know how to do. Now, what we need to do is to take all these old hacks,
Political appointment.
okay, is to take all these old Nigerians should put a front that would take all these old leaders who have helped, who have contributed directly or indirectly to our dwindling economy, to our political, economic quagmire, to all the sufferings in that country. We know them. We know them. We know who have been our leaders.
So that's your own recommendation.
So my first recommendation is to be able to put all these leaders under control and probe every one of them to declare their assets, and the government should take action, the authorities should take action to take all this money and assets from them as one of the ways out. Because as long as these people are there, they are still the people ruling. They change themselves.
Because
they rotate it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Yes.
That is the problem.
That's your recommendation.
Madam, please.
Yeah, your recommendation, sir.
Yeah, my recommendation is we are finding solutions to the problem of corruption. Now, I heard a journalist say people were shot for less. When Rollins State his school, I think 2 or 3 head of states, several generals were shot. Today, people are more corrupt than those days. Because, I mean, officers who use their offices to take loan, 50,000 loan from the banks, were lined up and shot to rectify, aggrandizement or using your offices to acquire wealth. Today, they are taking millions without accounting for it. So, revolution is not a panacea for corruption.
Yeah.
Accountability. If they give you 100 cedis, you must account for what you use the $100 or 100 cedis for.
Yeah.
But that accountability is not there. That is why our leaders, steal and get away with it. If there is proper accountability, and you give me 10 cedis or 10 naira, tomorrow you must come and ask me how I use it. But in Africa, people take money and nobody asks questions.
And
we are all suffering for it now.
After they have left the office.
Yes.
I think it has to be while they are in the office.
Office,
then
you ask them.
An auditor,
Yes.
auditing them from time to time.
Time
and they
to
must
time.
be open to it as well.
Even when you are out of office, they must call you to come and account for your problems.
Let me.
But then the money has been siphoned out.
Let me add to what.
Yeah, either you add again.
I
Okay?
will not repeat what they have said.
Yeah.
But to add my own recommendation.
Yes, please.
You see, we have 3 arms of government: the presidency, the judiciary,
The executive,
and the legislature.
Yes.
Legislature.
Yes.
The Senate, the senators, and the reps, their salary must be curtailed because it's too fat. That is why a senator, even presidents and their vice, their salaries must be curtailed, because that is why when they are campaigning, they can even borrow money from bank, loan, millions, and spend it in campaign. Where are they going to get that money back? Okay, now maybe you see something in me that I can be a good politician, but I don't have the finance. You, as the person who have the finance, can call me that you will sponsor me. Immediately I get to my state and become governor. You come for your money.
With interest.
With interest.
With interest.
Yes.
You understand? So whatever the federal is giving to me, I am dividing it into two to pay you.
To pay you.
Yeah.
So in that area, the salaries of governors, senators, presidents, House of Reps, local government chairmen must be curtailed. Because government already have provided accommodation for them. Car allowance is there.
No
Everything
petrol.
shall be looked into. No senator should have more than 1 car, official car. You cannot have more than 1 official car. And that car is not a luxurious car. It should not be luxurious car. So that we shall make it less attractive.
Yeah.
That people who has intention to serve their country will be able to get to that place without much money.
It is done. We who are in the diaspora, because we
are you done, sir?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Using your word, charity starts at home. I am proudly Nigerian. I'm an African, but for purpose of discussion, I'm proudly Nigerian. Listen, Nigeria problem starts from 1966, when the military led by Kaduna Zegoso removed the government of Tafawa Balewa. After then, Gowon came in. We know there were crises. Nigeria went into civil war. Ever since then, the military has been in power, and the military created states that are completely unviable. As it is today in Nigeria, with 36 states and Abuja as the federal capital territory, they are not viable. And that is why you see states cannot even pay their salaries. But why can't they reduce this number of states? These states were created by military decree. We now operate a constitutional government. Why do we allow certain decrees and accept some? It is called pick and choose. Decree number 2 order Buhari when he overthrew government in 1984, there was the press freedom, you can't talk, but they removed that. But the decree that created these states and local government, they don't want to remove it. Why? Because the smaller the state, the more opportunity you have of you becoming a governor, of you becoming a senator, of you becoming House of Reps member.
But development as well.
Development is key. Listen, it is on record that Nigeria used 75% of their budget for recurrent expenditure to pay senators, pay governors, pay their commissioners, pay the less than 25% is left for capital projects every year. Using Nigeria as an example of this discussion, the 36-state structure is a fraud.
Yes.
Nigeria is incapable of maintaining 36 states. We don't have that capital. Look at states that are bigger than Nigeria, Libyan. I'm not sure Libyan with 1.2 billion people has that number of states and local government. So Nigeria should be restructured to create more revenue for people, to create jobs, to empower people to set up industries for infrastructural development so that people can have jobs. People begin to leave the country after leaving university or they learn a trade, they cannot have nothing to do. They would rather tell you, instead of me to die here, I'd rather die in the Mediterranean Sea, also in Ghana. So, like in Ghana, I understand that they operate a presidential system with a kind of quote that I don't understand, that when you become president like the NPP right now, he appoints the ministers, what they call them in Ghana, for every region. Even the regions he did not win. It should not be so.
Oh, they rule over there.
Right, like Nana Addo appoints the people who rule even in the northern region where he did not even win.
Everywhere.
Like
it is not supposed to be so, like governor. Wow. It is not supposed to be so. It's supposed to be divulged.
Yes, yes.
So that if your party wins this region, you control the region. So that there will be strong opposition. Unfortunately, in Ghana, the opposition is weak. But in Nigeria, the major problem we have has to do with the states, too many states, too many local government, and in this state, it is constitutional. And that constitution was given to us by the military. But for you to change that constitution, you need to go to the parliament. And those people in the parliament don't want to lose their position of saying, let us restructure Nigeria and make it like 6 regions. Because they will lose becoming senators, they will lose becoming House of Reps member, they will never say no. So how can you use 75% of your budget to pay salaries? The remaining 25% to develop. How can people get loan to establish industries that will employ people? Until we deal with tribalism, until we deal with selfishness of our leaders, to say the truth, we are not going nowhere. Until our senators, our House of Reps decide to say, no, Nigeria has to be restructured to regional government, scrap the states, go back to regional government, have only 6 regions, make the presidency less attractive, then there will be so much money to develop Nigeria, and people will stay back home, get jobs. In the 80s and in the 70s, 80s, how many Nigerians go abroad? They go, study, and come back home.
It's true.
By the time they come, there is a job waiting for them. But it's the reverse these days, because there are no jobs. what is happening in Europe is economic migration. 90% is economic migration.
Yeah.
The rest could be due to persecution. People are running from Boko Haram, who are running from another problem. But 90% of the problem is economic migration to Europe. So the European government, the European Union in Brussels, should be able, I know they cannot interfere in internal affairs of country. There should be this policy diplomatically of raining down on the Nigerian government, raining down on the Ghanaian government, raining down on the ECOWAS leader for them to do the right thing. But they would, that is the truth.
Well, let me quickly say this. You see, we are trying to look for recommendations for resolving the immigration of our people to die in the Mediterranean Sea, to die in the desert, to go through enslavements in Libya, and all these crises. Like we've said in this panel, we need to start from looking at our government and every Nigerian having the courage to tell the truth. Without truth, everybody continues to live in darkness. Where people don't accept the truth, where people don't want to hear the truth, then the people will continue to be ignorant. The oldest man or woman on the street here, my daughter, who is 7 years old in the Netherlands, already knows the law. She knows her rights. And she tells me, when I tell her certain things, she tells me, Daddy, no, it's not so. Okay? That is because this is an enlightened environment where everybody knows their rights. That is why I mentioned ignorance in the first place. Our government destroys schools. They make lecturers to go on strike every day. Our graduates are no more qualitative. Tell me, they are all ignorant of so many things. Okay? That is why even Nigerians don't know their rights from their left. And that is why they will continue to vote wrong, bad people into government. Because an enlightened person who knows his or her rights would not take 2 kilos of rice and vote for somebody that knows will not make his children go to school tomorrow.
Exactly.
That is ignorance.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
And so, in my own opinion, I think ignorance and poverty are the biggest problems of Nigerians. And that is why you see fathers and mothers, even under this very, very terrific, frightening situation, they still ask their children to go on that journey to Libya in their attempt to get to Europe, even till tomorrow. Right now, if it's possible to see, you see Nigeria right now on the road. Some will leave tomorrow. Some are going to leave next month. They want to go there. They know how dangerous it is, but they are desperate. The hungry man is desperate. The frustrated man, he wants to die because he has nothing to hold on for. So what I see as a solution is starting from attacking the government. You cannot remove a powerful government like Nigeria with talking. They need drastic action from the citizens, from all Nigerians home and abroad, to tell them we are tired. We don't want to continue like this. Nigerians own that country, not those few criminals in government. Okay, it's just a cabal of few deadly people in government. We will remove them and take our country back and hold our destiny in our hands. Our country is too rich for people to continue to die in desert, in the Mediterranean Sea, and nobody talks. The kind of criminality we have in Nigeria is terrible. Graduates are armed robbers. They are fraudsters.
And yes.
Graduates are prostitutes all over the place.
True.
That is because the government is taking all their fortune, all their hopes and aspirations, and putting in their pockets. This thing will continue. Immigration to die in the desert and the Mediterranean Sea will continue as long as we have bad government.
Yes, as long as there's corruption. Finally.
Okay, finally, I want to look at this issue.
Sir.
How come Nigeria, with over 100 million population, 180, okay, actually started free education.
That's
and Nigerians years back.
Because we are more
I
than
know,
that.
the musician Rockefeller Jazz, he gave a song about Nigerian free education in those days. And it took Ghana how many years? Only last year we had free education. So for all these years, what were our leaders doing?
Western region have free education, or they are war. That is why Nigeria need to be restructured.
Yeah. You see,
exactly.
Yeah. If one country can promulgate free education, Another country cannot propound it. Then Nigeria did it years back, and Ghana did it only last year. So for all these years,
no, we had it before in Nkrumah's time.
no, only 3 regions, the north. And people, even our former president, Mahama, was born in Accra, and the father, who was a minister, took him to the north to go to school because it's free education. Okay. While the remaining regions in the south, there was no free education until Nado came. So it is the leaders, efforts. If they love their people and they want to give them, in fact, what is happening in Africa, revolution will not stop it. Uprising like Arabs did, it has destroyed most of the northern brothers. Yeah, it is not a solution. If we want to say we will talk, it will not solve. Demonstration, it will not solve. Revolution, it will not solve. I only prescribe accountability. Any money has to pass through parliament. Opposition and the government sit down. Oh, $10 million was given to this entity. After using it, come and tell all of us how you use that money. That is the only way. Because killing, people has killed. It never changed anything. But when you promulgate a law of accountability, and all of us agree that whatever money I take from you...
There are laws. They don't obey the laws. It's impunity.
Well, gentlemen, yes, sir.
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
My final submission is
Yeah.
I will advise our youths,
Yes.
youths of every country, Ghana, Nigeria, because we have said a lot about old men in the government. They don't want to change. Now is the opportunity for the youths. That now we have seen everything that the old people have destroyed and even the foundation of our country. Now it is for the youths to organize themselves, not violently.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
That's
violently. The youths should organize themselves. If they want to register their own political party, this thing must be done democratically and not by violence.
That's a good
They should organize themselves, belong to their own party if they wish.
Yes.
If they want to belong to other parties, but let them not sell their conscience. When they make their own, when they have their own party, they will spread to other state youths, from this state to this state, from this state to this state.
Yeah.
That is how this kind of change of power will come. Then they begin to elect the people they want.
You trust.
Because they have the number.
Change the institutions.
The youths have the number. Youth doesn't mean only men, both ladies, women, everybody. Then you will see the old people joining them.
It is their future.
Then they take over to lead.
It is their future.
So the youths must take the mantle. Yeah, they must sit up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So the final, let me hear from Apostle Larry, please.
It's a very, very important thing we're talking about. We shouldn't underestimate, what we're doing here right now. One of the things that's the cause of the corruption. By the way, I don't think we can ever eliminate corruption. It will be there, but we can squeeze it down.
Minimize it.
That we can do. One of the things affecting our countries is that the institutions which must undergird accountability and corruption, they are weak.
They are not working.
So even though you cry for accountability, it will never happen because there are things going to make sure that people are accountable. Those things are not there.
Yes.
They arrest you, call the president.
Yeah.
Once one is arrested, he calls the president.
So,
EFCC is even corrupt in Nigeria.
People appoint their people to head the corruption institutions.
And the money that they've been discovering, we don't know what they're doing with these billions.
So nothing to, the checks and balances are really
not there.
Even if they're weak and they can't hold anybody to account, even up to the president.
I think it's a
So that's a serious problem. We are talking and we have to really continue. And in fact, there's also some sort of exploitation of the electorate because people are taking advantage of their ignorance. So when the politicians come, they come and talk. We promise this and that, and then say, hey, we vote. People even die for them. And then they get there, and then it's over.
Finish.
Now, one of the things that I believe is helping the Western society is that down to the grassroots, even up to your local communities, people are active engage in discussing community problems. You see, and those things eventually filter through to the top. You know, if you have a political party like PV, they are here in this area. They have, you know, it goes to, I mean, on the Amsterdam wide, let's say, circle, and they make the national PVD, for example. In other words, whatever you generate from the base
goes to the grassroots,
filters up to the top.
Yeah.
And so, in other words, the voices of the people on the ground still can be felt. You see, but ours is only at election time, then it's over. So now we are here. We can begin to make our voices heard strong and let everybody, even the commonest person, know what we want. Yeah. And what we want is what must happen at the top. You know. Yeah. So we're going to have to do, but it's going to take a long journey. It may take a while, but we have to get it started. So that the politicians have to respect and fear the electorate.
Exactly.
You see, but that is not the situation now. They know they can just slap some euros and dollars or naira and cedis and get some.
Give them some bags of rice.
Once they've done that, they win, and then they can do whatever they forget
you. Yes, it's true.
So
it's true.
This discussion actually ought to continue. People are interested because of some of the reactions that we are seeing on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, but we should not just make it a talk shop, but how to gather whatever ideas and recommendations that are coming and take it further. And before you know, we galvanize a movement of people around the other parts of the world, concerned Ghanaians, concerned Nigerians who want a change, you know, a change for good. Before you know, it will become a wildest thing. And people, these politicians, they cannot resist the voice of the people.
No,
the people
it's not possible.
Up, they will respect it.
It's not. That's why I said earlier.
Ignorance is one of the things that are taking advantage.
Ignorance is a big problem.
They saw that they killed them.
Ignorance.
And they paid with their lives.
There is something that happens. Scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Exactly.
This government comes, they steal. Another government comes, keep it. Yeah. Because they will do the same thing. Yeah. So scratch my back, I scratch your back.
We need to show example and encourage a front that will stop all this.
I think the chief example, listen, it's not, for people who are above 50 years, it's all over.
Yeah.
Okay, we all become fathers and advise. Yeah. The youth should rise up in Ghana. Yeah. The youth should rise up in Nigeria. Anywhere you are in Africa, rise up. Set up a political party and canvass for votes because it is your future that these bad leaders are mortgaging. Just as Peter Obi, the former governor of Anambra, has said. So that the youth, it's your future that these old politicians are mortgaging. So rise up and set up a party and voting someone who represents your ideas of how to have a better society that will be better for all, irrespective of what religion you believe in, or irrespective of what language you speak. That has nothing to do with governance.
Any one of them that will rise up will be supported.
But if all the youth stand up in Ghana,
when they get in, then they must also be open for accountability.
I am sorry, I know Ghana has a wonderful president who is so intelligent, but he's over 70 years old. Nigeria has a president who is over 70 years old. What are we doing with people of this nature?
Ivory Coast, over 70.
Over 70? Why can't a young boy of like in Austria?
Look at Austria.
31 years. Look at France. Austria is 31.
31.
Well, that is it.
God bless Africa.
That is it. We're rounding up now. But thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. We are still on air. We've not yet finished because there are some of our viewers who also have their own final say in this sort of like Dickin and Sonny Odaro. He says, panelists, please, let's have a referendum in Nigeria about bringing the British back.
Interesting colonization.
Oh my God! Is that since there are no what? He says, what is it? He said there are no what?
Something. Since there are no honest.
Oh, the honest watchdogs. Yes. To watch the
corrupt leaders.
Wow. So he wants the British to come back. And then Dickin,
that is the desperation.
The African leaders hijack the entire system for their selfish interests. The educated class are now frustrated that they have to dance to the drum of the political canvas.
For crumbs.
All right, that's you. And there are other people like Vivian Creeks, Kevin Ezekwesili Eze, Murphy, Chu Ojibafo, IEDS Bank Portal, and so many people, so many. Well, we want to thank every one of you with your good ideas that you have just contributed, and we thank you, panelists. You know, but for me, as a person, I think this thing is not just only for us to talk here and not do anything. We have to practicalize it. You see, teach our young ones, our infants, teach them about patriotism. Yeah. Teach them about, you know, oneness of a country.
Truthfulness.
You know, teach them how they can protect. Look at this here. Even a small child, when he's going to school, clocks the card. You don't see, they know that the minute they go black raya, SWAT raya, they call it, you know, you go SWAT raya, you must be, you know, you're fined. But I go to Britain, I see that black people are jumping the thing. You know, you see how Nigerians jumping it. They jump, they somersault on that.
I told my son today, for every action there is a consequence. And he knows that. It has to start with us.
So we have to teach them how to be patriotic. We have to teach this even in schools. Teach them. Traditional leaders also must take their own share, do something in their communities and help their communities. Also, the religious leaders like me, we also we don't need to. You know, we don't need to be praying for people. Come, bring your passport. Let's pray. So you can go to, you can get visa. Please, we don't need to be doing those things. Because,
fake passports are a problem of Africa.
I don't know whether it's fake or not, but we
religion
derive pressure in promoting that and telling people, bring your passports and lay them in the altar. They will pray. You get visa. You know, we shouldn't be doing those things anymore, please. I think we have to also teach our family folks how not to sit redundant and just be waiting for money from Europe. They have to get up and do something. You know, so they have to be very, very productive. And also those who have the capacity to rule, and even though they are in the diaspora, those at home must give them chance. They must step out so that those in the diaspora can bring some of their expertise to influence our culture, influence our government. Because we are here shouting and shouting. The moment you go there, either they will use somebody to hijack you, or they will just kidnap you, or they will kill you silently. Do you understand? Because it's like, oh, they have come back. They come back with too much of intelligence. So our system is our system. So that's what they say. That's what they say over there. So they terrorize us, because even when we go home now, we feel insecure to contribute our quota. So please, let the whole place be conducive so that Africa can go forward. Africa shouldn't be the continent that produces children and send them out again. Because the best of Africa, they are out in diaspora. And those who are too corrupt are down there, corrupting and corrupting. So we want our children to come back home and also contribute their quota, isn't it?
Exactly.
So let us teach them the right ethics, teach them the right things. So
truthfulness.
Okay, you keep talking about truthfulness. That is the truth. Because the Bible even says, and I end with this, it says, we shall know the truth, and the truth will set us free. So let's teach them the truth. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Bishop Rodney. Thank you so much.
It's been wonderful being here, and very happy New Year to wherever you are all over the world. May 2018 bring you peace, happiness, joy, good health, and truth in Africa.
And the Chief Onitaki, please.
We thank all of you for listening and watching us. The problem is so huge.
Yes.
Our talking has ended, but let us continue thinking and bringing out views and suggestions that will ameliorate the life of our people way back in Africa.
Thank you, sir. And Elder Uye, please.
Yes, we thank you, viewers. We thank you so much for for having the patience to listen to us. We have a problem, a mountain of problems at hand in Africa, but we know there are solutions. Let all of us make truthfulness and honesty our watchwords. When we lay foundation with the truth, and we fear God, all these problems will be solved.
Exactly. And Chief
Eze, thank you very much, viewers. As you have joined us in this discussion, and I wish you happy and prosperous New Year. And finally, we shall get to the promised land gradually.
Amen. And myself, my humble self, I'm wishing all of you prosperous 2018. And also, the Bible said the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. I wish each and every one of us the fear of God. Because when we fear God, I think nothing is impossible for God to fix, including African continent and including Nigeria as a country, or Ghana. nothing is impossible. So I believe that God, if we will fear him and do what is right, he will pour out grace. Amen.
Amen.
So as the year is ending and it's about to start, please, I wish you the fear of God. And thank you for watching us. And God richly, richly bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.